Dustin Poirier just retired, and I'm gonna be honest, guys, I don't really care. Call me a sociopath because it's just not hitting for me. Some people out there talk about Dustin Poirier more fondly than they do their own family because it is insane. Because this retirement, I felt fell flat, and this has nothing to do even with Dustin, okay? I mean, this just fell flat from a card perspective. I mean, this wasn't even the main event matchup I wanted to see. This wasn't the matchup I wanted to see for Dustin Poirier, so I was already disappointed in that, and the card, I thought it didn't live up to expectations, barely any finishes. Dustin Poirier was also apparently upset with the scoring, and I'm going to get into that too. But yeah, UFC 318 went down, and there was a lot of problems. As I've said, I made countless videos talking already about the undercard. It wasn't stacked. So this obviously was the card, and I mean, you look at this main card, even the co-main event, Paulo Costa, Roman Kopylov. Like I said, we talked about this before. I mean, I thought the main card was pretty decent, and then you get to these other fights, it's like there's clearly a drop off with these, terrible matchups, or these matchups that we weren't looking forward to as much. It also came no finishes. Like, there were absolutely no finishes, especially on this main card. I'm not going to lie, there of course were entertaining fights. The main event was entertaining. The co-main event was decently entertaining in the beginning. Kevin Holland versus Daniel Rodriguez was entertaining. Marvin Vettori versus Brendan Allen was also entertaining. Maybe if you're a fan, you feel like this is hate. This is me attacking Dustin, guys. This is far from attack. And I believe if you're a Dustin fan, you should actually probably agree with me even more. So I'm not saying this as a hater, but look at it this way. Dustin Poirier, he was in a lose-lose situation. If he beat Max Holloway, that was a guy he already beat twice. Didn't really add too much to his legacy. Or if he lost like he did tonight, now he kind of just seems washed. But I mean, I think you could have done Dustin Poirier versus Justin Gaethje 3. That would have been way more legendary. Dustin could avenge his loss. Dustin Poirier is retiring, right? And if they were to give, Justin Gaethje, if they were to give Paddy Pimblett, if they were to give Ilia Topuria, if they were to give like any of these guys, then they risk like one of their top guys, one of their stars that could be fighting for a title very soon, somebody that could sell a lot of pay-per-views. They're risking that guy to lose to a guy that's, going to retire, that isn't going to even help the company. So they're in a lose situation. They would have been in a lose-lose because Dustin, yeah, he leaves with a win, and it's good for his legacy. So he's in a good position, but it leaves the UFC in a bad position. They don't really gain much from a business standpoint. However, from this, if Dustin did beat Max, I think Max could have moved on. But all right, I want to get into the fight. Okay, so we get into the first round, and I mean, we get off, pretty quickly because Dustin Poirier gets knocked down. And I'm curious what you guys think in the comment section below. Let me know, because this is a question I think we're going to ask each other for a long time. All right, this is the fact. Did Dustin Poirier's chin go away, or is Max Holloway's power just, gotten so much better? I don't know. I'm curious to see. I think the only way we're going to really see this is if Max Holloway goes out there and starts hurting people. He starts, knocking more people down. This was also a round where we saw right away the game plan. It was a clear game plan, a similar game plan, actually, Max Holloway had against Justin Gaethje, where he attacked the body time and time again, and for multiple reasons. Obviously, to slow down his opponent, to slow down Dustin, to slow down Justin, but it also wasn't just for that. It also was to keep his opponent away from him. Dustin's kind of, even subconsciously hesitating, because if you're going forward into that body attack. You're going forward to that teep, to that, spinning back kick, to that weird jumping, spinning back kick he did. Now, in round two, this was the craziest round, and this was, I will say, as much as I was shitting on the fight, shitting on the matchup, the fight was a good fight. I can't deny that. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and just be a total hater. In round two, Dustin Poirier gets knocked down again, and I thought at this point, man, Dustin Poirier, he might actually get finished. I thought he was going to get finished in the first round at one point, but I really thought maybe he gets finished in the second round. Dustin Poirier gets up and knocks down Max Holloway and almost finished Max Holloway. He gets a guillotine also. Rounds 3 and 4 were kind of, I felt like, Max getting back into the fight, and I think this is going to be the controversial take I have. Dustin Poirier, I gave the third round, so I also gave Dustin Poirier the second round. Max Holloway, I gave the first and fourth round, so I did have it 2-2 going into the fifth. I know this is a debate online, and we're going to get into it because Dustin Poirier isn't happy with the scorecards. He felt it was way closer. We get to round 5, and I felt this round is where really Max Holloway full on separated. I think this was where, we know Max Holloway is known for his cardio and, his pace and, how fast his punches can be. Here, he really just put the pace on, Dustin Poirier, moving backwards, hitting him with fast combos, making Dustin miss a lot. I felt like you could see Dustin getting tired, the body kick is getting to him. I mean, there was one body kick I remember that hit Dustin, and Dustin was like, all right, like, you're not all right, dude. Like, I know you're dying. Thank God Dustin had those abs, because if not, he would have been toast. He needed all the protection he needed at that moment. And a clear Max Holloway round, but still, the last 10 seconds, Max Holloway says, let's go in the middle, and something I was expecting. I was actually looking forward to that, for the whole fight, hoping we would get to that moment. And Dustin Poirier, I'm not shaming Dustin here, guys. This isn't me shaming Dustin, but this is just a fact. I'm reporting it as fact. Dustin Poirier, he clinched up with Max Holloway about, 5 seconds or so into that exchange, meaning that, he was not down like Justin Gaethje was to swing in the middle like that. And this isn't a diss to Dustin Poirier. I'm pretty sure he's done this before with Max Holloway. So at the end of the day, I wouldn't do it. So look, this is no shame to Dustin Poirier. Okay. You know what I mean? This isn't me, taking a shit on him. I think as a fight goes, it wasn't a bad, performance from Dustin Poirier. It wasn't something to be embarrassed about. If you're going to retire on a fight, it wasn't a bad fight to retire on. You nearly won the fight, in my opinion. Max Holloway won the fight and, kind of called out Ilia Topuria. I think that's a fight they might make next, but Dustin Poirier retires. He has the video package for him, something I think we were all kind of expecting. His, he had the whole family reunion there, by the way, too. Like, I mean, seriously, I don't think I've ever seen that much family in the octagon at once. Now, I want to give my thoughts on Dustin's retirement, but Dustin did come out, in his post-fight press conference saying he didn't agree with the scorecards, and this is going to be his last post-fight press conference most likely ever. I want to say I would not be surprised if Dustin Poirier does not retire.
Yeah, man, obviously I wanted to win. Max is a great fighter, tough competitor. I just felt, being inside the eye of the storm, it felt a lot closer to me. I really thought it might have been 2-2 going into the fifth.
I thought so. I actually agree with Dustin.
Checked the scorecards when we got to the locker room, and I think the judges gave me different rounds, so I don't know. I think all the judges gave him the second round. I thought I almost had him out. He hurt me too, but I thought my shot was when I followed up with elbows.
And I definitely agree with Dustin here. I thought I had the same assessment. I felt like, Max did knock him down in the second round, but Dustin's knockdown, I felt almost finished him, so I felt like he should have won.
Him. He told me in the medical tent, he said, man, you had me out.
Yeah, so apparently Max said, oh, you had me out.
We couldn't hear the bell, so it felt, being in the fight, it felt like a lot closer than that. When I heard the judges 49, whatever, I was like, no way.
At the end of the day, 49-46 though isn't that ridiculous. Like we're talking, Dustin feels like he won 2 rounds, and instead they gave him just 1 round. I mean, I felt like rounds 2 and 3 were very close. So, let's not act like it was all that one-sided. All right, round 1 unanimously was given to Max Holloway. I really would hope so, because if this was not the case, I think you might be a little slow, for real. You should not be judging fights if you think Dustin had any chance of winning that first. Round 2 was split. I mean, 1 judge gave it to Dustin, 2 gave it to Holloway. Surprising. I felt like Dustin should have won that one. If you're going to give 1 round to Dustin, I felt like that was it. Round 3, same thing, split. Round 4, also split, but 2 judges giving it to Dustin, 1 giving it to Max, which was not what I had, I believe, unless I'm misremembering. Then the 5th round, everyone gave it to Max Holloway. Clearly, I felt like, obviously Max Holloway had to win that round. And Dustin is retired. Dustin presumably is not going to fight anymore. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see him at some point in boxing or even in the UFC again, to be honest. If the right fight happens, I wouldn't be surprised. You never know. White House card, Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier 4. I mean, come on, guys. But look, Dustin, I feel like, I've said multiple times, certain problems I've had with him. I thought that certain, incidents like the Michael Chandler stuff, I thought was a little cringe. I think one of the, just toughest fighters, one of the most entertaining fighters. I'm not the biggest Dustin Poirier fan, but it is what it is, guys. I think that's why this fight week just didn't even feel like a pay-per-view for me. It really just fell flat for me, guys. I want to know, am I being a hater? Am I being too much? Am I just being an asshole? Am I the asshole? Should I just enjoy this guy retiring? Let me know in the comment section below. Check out my last video where we talked about the Conor McGregor incident. Yes, you guys know what incident I'm talking about. You guys, the best fan base MMA. Hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share, and I'll see you guys in the next one.